afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called AfreeQa with your host Katsala Seifu. Today we have another exciting guest for you. Thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Iri Dimako Chordi, but more shortly Iridi. You know me as Iridi.
Okay, Iridi. Again, I say welcome.
Merci.
So, before we get into who Iri is, if we could have a little background, you know, where were you born, how you grew up, and how you ended up to the stage that you are currently.
Okay.
Just a little background.
So I was born in Ethiopia, in the south of Ethiopia. I moved to Addis when I was about 5 years old. Went to high school here, Lycée Le Junaid. And then I left when I was 17 to Colombia, South America, because my dad had a job there, so we followed him with the family. Did my last year of high school there, then I went to Canada for 8 years where I studied, started my musical career, and then I did some back and forth between France, Ethiopia, and Canada, and I got back here in 2019.
Oh, beautiful. What an exciting journey you had.
But
So, throughout this journey, at what point did you realize that you wanted to become the musician that you are?
I have always loved music, but the person that noticed my gift, if I can say, or the fact that I loved singing, because I used to sing all the time, was my dad. He saw that and he was like, you need to take singing lessons. With some of my aunties that used to take singing lessons. He asked and he got me to take my first classes, singing lessons.
At what age was this?
I was about 9 or 10.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So it was a part of your life?
It was, yeah. My dad had this huge collection of CDs, and we're really all I have 2 older brothers, musicophile. Like, we listen to music all day, every day. In the morning, my mom would put us some Beethoven, Chopin, and then.
So you traveled.
Yes.
To music.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Now I'm going to come into your life. To your musical career. Can you tell us about your musical journey, which you just did?
Yes.
But then once you knew that you wanted to be a musician, I would like to know that journey and how you got started as a singer, a songwriter, and a guitarist.
Okay. I always listened to music, and I did things hiding. I was always hiding, listen to music and sing them out loud. When my parents or my brothers would be out of the house, I would just like put the music and sing my heart out. It was really like a refuge for me. And I was telling my dad, I want to become a jazz singer. That's what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a jazz singer. So then when he noticed that, my dad, so when he put me into those singing lessons, it became more tangible. I was very afraid. I hated singing with people looking at me. I feel like I did not want them to tap into my emotions. So what I asked them was, turn off the lights and I'll sing for you.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. And then so at 14, I think one of my brothers had a guitar that he wasn't using, and so I started learning on my own, and that's when I started writing my first lyrics. That's what my mom told me. I had totally forgotten about that.
We never remember that first moment. Mom always does.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she told me, and we had these really important person that's in the Ethiopian industry that was like a mentor also, where I went and did my first recording at his studio with my dad when I was about, I think, 12. And I also had piano lessons, which I hated.
Why?
Because it was too I hate having to, like, having a time restrictions, having to do things makes me lose the interest.
Ah,
So what was different with the guitar is that I was the one who went towards that instrument, and I spent hours and hours playing back when I started.
that's so interesting. What role does Ethiopian culture and music play in your work, and how do you incorporate it into your songs?
I think it's in the storytelling. I think that Ethiopia, as a country, as an entity, worldwide, plays in my life. Mostly because I have a very unique story also, and I think a lot of people in Ethiopia can relate to my story, and melodically, I think that's what I try to um, give to people, that sense of being like, there are a lot of things that aren't going well here, but it's going to be fine. And I want my voice and my melodies to be like an embrace. I will hug you. And people feel that, actually. They've told me also.
Wow, that's beautiful. Very interestingly, you said you had a very unique story.
Yes.
So I'm going to want to know that unique story. Can you share your unique story with us, is the question.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, the big lines of the story is that I was born in the south, Omo Valley. I'm from Hamar, and there are some practices there that sometimes takes people out of the community. Some practices that doesn't allow people to stay there, and talking about curses and things like that, which is very common all through Africa and other continents also. It's not just on our continent. And so I had to leave, otherwise they would get rid of me in some ways. And so, long story short, my French parents found me, and that's how I am where I am today.
So you were adopted?
Yes.
To make a long story short.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Because it changes everything.
It does.
It changes even in the way I ask my questions. Now I know something about you.
Yes.
That I think I have to incorporate in some of, because it's a very sensitive matter.
Yeah.
So,
Understand.
Are there any specific Ethiopian artists or musicians who have influenced your style or inspired you?
I used to listen to a lot of music from the 70s growing up, my dad, and he was in love with AfreeQa also and her voice. So I listened to a lot of those artists that were thriving back in the days. Other than that, Gigi also, I listened to her a lot. And the fact that I left my birthplace at around 5, I had a lot of baggage actually that I discovered afterwards, melodic, that stayed with me. So that also is very, very present in
your music.
Yes.
How do you approach the process of songwriting? And where do you draw inspiration from your lyrics and melodies? I think you just answered that one.
So melodies, yeah, definitely from
your background.
From my background. Yeah. I used to listen to a lot of jazz. My brothers were into hip hop and reggae. The only type of music that I did not listen to because I still do not understand it is metal music. I don't understand that genre. It's just my ears don't comprehend the musicality behind it. But otherwise, I really listen to a lot of like variety of music. So that is very present, and the lyrics is really from my personal experience and how I feel things and how I interact with my environment.
Can you share any memorable experiences or stories related to your performances or collaborations with other artists?
So this one is when I was learning at a singing lesson with Waina. I don't know if you know Waina Wendosen. She used to be one of my singing teachers.
Nice.
So I think I was 14 or 15. And I had left lycée that day. It was on Wednesday, and it was in the afternoon after 5 that I had my lessons. So really heavy day. And I was very mad. I don't know what happened that day, but I was very mad. And so I did not want to go to the singing lesson, but anyways, I had to go, so I did, annoyed and feeling heavy and tired from the whole stressful day in school. And I remember that right when we started doing the vocal exercises, there was a sense of relief of feeling lighter and lighter. The more I sang, the better I felt. And that experience really stuck with me so much that I think I, in some ways, tried to recreate that moment. Back when I was in Montreal with my partner, Sarah, she's a violinist, I had a duo. And we were playing, and many times people have come to us and crying and telling us, you healed me, you really helped me understand something about myself just by
Wow.
playing.
Just by hearing you.
Yes.
That's beautiful. What message or emotions do you hope to convey through your music? And what impact do you aspire to have on your audiences? Even though as a musician you have
Yeah.
no control over
Yeah,
that, but
of
there's
course.
always something that you want to give. And obviously you've already heard a lot of the positive impact that you've actually had on your audiences.
I think because I try to replicate the role that music had in my life for other people that listen to me. And the role, the most important one was really a healing one. So I'm trying to pass on that healing to other people.
Are there any challenges or obstacles you have faced as an Ethiopian artist in the music industry? And how have you overcome them?
When I was in Montreal, I did have I felt exoticized a lot. It's mostly African music and coming from Ethiopia, and it's the way some people portrayed us back in the days was really different from how they would talk about other people that made music. And I even have cancelled a show, a very important one by the way, because of the way they came up to us just to ask us to play. They said things in a way that was inappropriate for me. So overcome, I mean, I'm fine with who I am and I accept myself, but I will not allow anyone else to change the way they perceive me. That's how I overcome it.
Beautiful. That means you are a very confident young lady. Because it obviously took you a minute to get to where you are now.
Yes,
So you will
definitely.
not compromise. There are
No.
certain things you just don't. Thank you. What are your goals and aspirations for the future of your music career? Are there any specific projects or collaborations you would like to pursue?
I have thought about that actually recently, and I would be happy to collaborate with some of the very divas, African divas.
African divas.
Like Oumou Sangaré.
Oh, yeah.
To collaborate with, I mean, he's not here anymore, but there was Adifarka Touré also.
Well, his son is still here.
Oh, his son now. There's Mama Niketa, they're mostly in, weirdly, I don't know, I have a huge attachment with Malian music. It's really like maybe in a past life I must have been Malian or something, or Malian singer, and other even upcoming artists, the vocalists that I really love. There's Dominique Fils-Aimé, she's a Haitian Canadian artist. She's based in Montreal. There's this French singer also, Iseult, that's her name, with a Y. There's different artists, but I think the best thing that I can dream of is to tour and to share my melodic wisdom with people.
Beautiful. Have you tried to contact any of the people that you just mentioned?
I
Just
have,
out
I
of-
know,
yeah.
so I know just one of them, and I did, but guess some messages just don't make it, make it. So I'll just wait. It's okay.
When the time
Bagize.
is right, it will happen. Absolutely. How do you balance your role as a singer, a songwriter, and a guitarist? Do you find one aspect more fulfilling than the others?
So I have to admit, since I came to Addis for until 2020, I think 2021, beginning of 2021, I was playing guitar, but then I let it go. So I met a very important person in my life who produces music, and he's taught me a few things, and so I'm not really in touch with the raw instruments anymore. I'm more on the producing side. So I try to produce my own songs, and he helps me also. So there's a fun usually, and the song where I start is with the melody. The melodies, usually that's how I start them. Otherwise, I write something and I try to adapt it to the music, to the instrumental that I create. This is the way for the moment, yeah. But it used to be guitar mainly, kazabo halano, that I come up with words and melodies. But now it's mostly vocal and instrumentals.
One thing I want to ask, and this question is coming from, because you're an adoptee, I would like to know how it was adjusting to a new family, and also adjusting basically a new life, really.
Yeah.
Because you had to shed away, or you had to forget your to go
Background,
forward,
yeah.
your background. And sometimes it's not hard.
Yeah.
Or I should say, it is hard.
Oh yeah, it is.
For some, it's easy to just wipe out and just move on. And I have a feeling for a lot of people, actually, that I have interviewed that are adoptees, it's not easy.
Yes.
It's not, especially when you're taken out from where you were. So, if you could just...
So I think on a general scale, we all have different coping mechanisms.
Yes.
And we either are living the emotions on a daily basis, and it might be very dramatic. Not to sound like, I'm not trying to use the word dramatic in a
I got you.
and other people might just shut everything out, and it works for a while, because that's what I have done. But then the questions and the emotions are so raw and alive that they come back, and it can be pretty violent, especially if you're not surrounded with people that want to help you and guide you to understand yourself and your journey, your emotions, and how you can deal with them. So thanks to God, I have a wonderful family that has been, helping me through getting through whatever states I was in. So, but that was after I was a teen.
Okay.
My teenage years were kind of chaotic. My identity, who am I, why me, what if I stayed, what would have happened, what if I actually had died also, how would people live life with me not being there, and yeah, they're hard questions, and some of them have hard truths also to them. So dealing with the answers, because you can also claim some reassuring responses that are not true, that are false. So when you get to that truth, it is heavy, but once you pass it, you gain something out of understanding why you were like that, or why you were feeling that way.
That way. Do you think that I don't want to say your situation, but the way you grew up had something to do, or still actually has something to do in your creative process. Because becoming an artist, I have a feeling, helped you actually express yourself
Yes.
way better
Oh.
than if you weren't in this industry. And the way you would have dealt with it would probably be different.
Yeah.
But becoming an artist, it actually also is a drive
Definitely.
for you to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
who
yeah.
you are right now.
So this is my mom again telling me, but you've been writing since you were a kid. You used to write a lot. And I don't even know where those papers are. I used to, instead of talking, because
wrote a
talking
lot.
to people would make me super emotional and then shut down. So I used to write, and then music was really like, I remember I love sad songs. I used to listen to sad songs and cry my heart out because it was the way for me to move that energy within me. So yeah, music definitely has played a huge role and still does. I mean, even though I don't listen to sad songs that much anymore, the feeling that they have of, you know, like
Touches your core.
it really
Certainly.
touches your core and helps you release whatever you have to. The first time I went back to my birthplace was in 2015,
Okay.
end of 2015. And it was the first time. I was very scared, but my mom was there with me. And
I'm sorry, what made you go with?
I had this urge. I needed to know. Even though I grew up in Addis and they're not far, Honum, I never felt the need or even
Desire?
yeah, no desire. I really did not want to have anything to do with that. And little by little, after spending 4 years in Canada, when I came back here, my mom proposed. She's like, "What if we go and see your mom and your sisters?" Like, yeah, why not? I was very scared for my life, of course. That's why I left the place in the first place. There was a whole process, someone reassuring me that the journey would go well, that I could blame them if it doesn't go well. And so we went there, and the music there, one of the songs, the very first songs that I heard and that really stuck with me is this, because it's a የህዝብ ዘፈን ነው ወይ ማላ, that melody.
What does
Yes,
Waimala mean?
it means way. So the Hammer people and the people from Nyangatom, they have families, kind of the same community, and they live in different places, and they don't call themselves Hammer. ግን ዘመዶች አሉኝ ለምሳሌ in
On
Nyangatom.
both sides.
On both sides. And so there's Nyangatominya in this song, and there's Hammer also. Waimala means wait, and it comes from the word Waya, Bahamarinya. And basically it says, let's wait for one another and let's go move forward together. What's made this, already the melody is I don't know how old it is, but it's 100 plus years old, and or maybe thousands of years old, I don't know. And the thing is, the people, when they sing this song, they dance in a circle. So you have men on one side and women on the other side, and they dance together. If new people come, the circle gets bigger, and it just adapts. And that's the feeling that literally talk about the circle and the meaning of circle, the family, it's unity, it's peace, it's love. And that's the feeling that listening to that melody that I try to translate, convey.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Daya.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now we're going to invite late Bunna.
Yes, late night bunna.
Yeah, so tell me the process of late Bunna. What do you mean by late Bunna?
Late night, so there are actually two songs. Majamarala is just vocals. They're polyphonies. I love polyphonies. I think, I mean, in Hammer they sing in polyphony also. I tried to recreate this sense of peace and ease with the late night. And it was actually with a videographer. His name is Michiel Robert, and he used to live here for about a year or two. We came up together with this idea of having this entity that roams through the city, the spirit of coffee, and that is in everyone's lives, and that wants to tell people the story and the origin of where coffee comes from and how it's traveled, its origins, and how it's spread worldwide now. So that's the late night bunna.
Late night bunna. So our last song is going to be Linagano. Yes. That was recently done by Mashallah Boy and yourself.
Yes.
So if you could please tell us a little bit about that.
Of course. And
I mean, there's more people.
There's Fab's Pie also.
There's more people.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So that song, Fab's Pie, is an Ethiopian Italian. Okay. He grew up in Addis, and now he lives in Europe. And he comes back here every year for holidays to spend time with his family and reconnect with the roots. And we have been meaning to collaborate for a while, not just him and me, but Mashallah Boy and him also. And so we're like, we can do it all three andalai. So when we used to live in Kasanchis, we just got together in the span of, I think, 3-4 days. We did both songs. And the story of these songs is actually the fact of being in a dark place, searching for yourself, struggles, and then seeing the lights, and then blossoming and healing. And
beautiful. We chose a good one as our closing song, didn't we?
Yes.
Beautiful. Iri, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Ninat.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this beautiful interview we had with Iri. Thanks again. Till next time, your Pan-African show called AfreeQa. Salam.